Hey loved ones, I'm Lucy and this is Pussy Powered. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a few things you can do with your lover for more connected, pleasurable, and powerful sex. Now, whether you choose to do this on a daily basis or a few times a week or even once a week, these exercises will help cultivate an environment emotionally and energetically for you to connect really deeply with your lover. All right, so let's get right into it. 1. Share from the heart. There is no connection without vulnerability. And how do you get vulnerable? I'm gonna give you a hint. It usually doesn't happen with conversations that go like, hey, how was your day? Oh, it was fine. Or here's a whole laundry list of things that sucked about my day. That's venting or bitching, but it is not vulnerability. Vulnerability requires putting your heart out there and potentially being rejected. This is what makes fears and desires so potentially terrifying to share, because when you get real about what you're afraid of, you are letting somebody see this very vulnerable part of yourself. And when you are sharing with someone what you really want, not a surface thing that you want, but like what you really want, what your heart desires, that is vulnerable, and it can be really scary. Because what if the other person thinks your fear is ridiculous, or what if they think your desire is stupid? It takes a lot of courage to get vulnerable, especially with your lover. So I challenge you to share from your heart, letting them really see you. And take turns doing this. Maybe give each other a certain amount of time, whatever feels right for you. And while one person is sharing, the other person is actively practicing listening. I'm calling it a practice because that is what it is. Listening is a practice. Not thinking about what you're going to respond, all these little side conversations that happen in our heads. It is a practice to quiet them and calm them so we can actually listen to what the other person is telling us. So while the other person is sharing, do not interrupt, simply listen. And then at the end, say thank you for sharing. And if you're not sure if you should respond something more or if they want something more from you, you can ask them, can we revisit some of this conversation later? And this can be a conversation opener for some other things that you might want to dive deeper into together. It's really important that during this exercise that you do not let the urge to potentially defend yourself or explain yourself or fix the other person calm those urgencies. This is about hearing the other person out and letting yourself be seen and heard whenever you are the one sharing. 2, soul gazing. This is looking into each other's eyes without breaking eye contact. So I like to call this soul gazing because even though you're looking into each other's eyes, you are really seeing so much more than just their eyeballs. Really let yourself see the person that is right in front of you. See their depth, their vulnerability, their strength, their divinity, all of them and who they are beyond what you're used to experiencing from this person on a day-to-day basis, beyond all of the assumptions and expectations that you have created about each other. And as you are doing this exercise, notice what emotions and physical sensations come up. Oftentimes when people do this exercise with another human being for the first time, they tend to giggle or laugh because laughter helps to dissolve the tension and the discomfort that they are feeling. But I challenge you to lean into the discomfort and don't brush it off and be like, this is silly. If you let yourself go beyond that urge that you may feel initially to dissolve any kind of rising tensions, and you let yourself feel what is beneath that, then you're gonna get into some really good shit. And if you're attempting to do this particular exercise for the first time or the first few times right before sex, it may lead you down a very different path that does not end with sex. Just to let you know. But in the long run of your relationship and your connection to each other, your intimacy, it is 100% worth it. So let the emotions surface and let yourself courageously share them with your lover. And then when you do have sex again, you're gonna be so much more in sync and it's gonna feel so much more powerful because you're not only connecting more physically, but you're connecting emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and mentally. And that is where sex magic happens. 3. breathing. After a couple minutes of soul gazing, or whenever you're feeling like you're in a more grounded, stable, in sync place together, and you have felt through and addressed these emotions that have surfaced, synchronize your breathing and breathe deeply and steadily together. Side note, please be sure that you brush your teeth or use mouthwash or something, freshen your breath before you do this exercise, because nobody likes to be breathing out stinky breath or smelling it in the air. Just saying. And if you're both open to it, you can place a palm on each other's hearts as you continue breathing together, feeling the flow of energy from your palm to his or her heart. For the fresh eyes exercise, now that you're present with each other and really taking in all of the being of the person that is right in front of you, not caught up in the day or what's in store for tomorrow, but really with each other, transition to the fresh eyes exercise. For this, look at your partner through the eyes of a stranger, as someone who is meeting this person for the first time, noticing what stands out to you about him or her. This could be physically, emotionally, energetically. What is your experience of this person if you were to look at him or her for the first time? And this exercise is all about stripping away the expectations and the assumptions and the beliefs and the stories that we have about this person, which can be really challenging in day-to-day life when, you know, that same person didn't take out the trash or didn't wash the dishes. This is a focused exercise where you practice noticing things about your partner that maybe you haven't seen in a while, or that you have never seen before. If you've been together for any length of time, then you're probably quite different people than you were when you first met. I know that for my husband and I, since we've been married almost 14 years now, God, we were just kids. To imagine meeting him today as the man that he is today, and vice versa with me as the woman that I am today, it brings so much curiosity and newness and excitement to think about how we would approach each other, how we might flirt with each other, how we would see each other, if we might be nervous about approaching the other person for the first time, how we would break the ice, what that first kiss might be like, what other first might be like. In this exercise, if you're doing it right after the other exercises, you're breathing together, you're looking into each other's eyes, begin imagining what it might be like to see your lover through fresh eyes. And then when the moment feels right, begin sharing with each other what you noticed, what's intriguing, what's amazing, what do you admire about your lover. And for this too, I like to imagine not just the things that I can physically see, but the behaviors and the energy that he's putting out there, especially if I imagine him interacting with other people, like if we're at a party or at an event or at a bar, and I observe his wildness and his goofiness and his craziness. Everyone craves to hear these things from their lovers. We take them for granted in each other all the time. And so to intentionally say these things to each other, this is what's amazing about you, this is what stands out to me about you. It's really special and something that connects two people so deeply, especially after you've gotten vulnerable about your fears and your desires, and you're in sync with your breath, and you're looking at each other and really seeing each other. This shit gets so crazy, it's so powerful. So those are the 4 things that I wanted to share with you today to help you cultivate this incredible, blissful, ecstatic sex life with your lover. Now, if the other person is not totally stoked about doing any or all of these exercises, be patient and continue doing the work with yourself. And over time, your lover will notice that you are for real about this, that you are committed to this, to your pleasure and the connection between the two of you. Definitely, please keep doing the daily self-work to open up your own channels of sexual energy and bliss. And if you don't already have a daily sexual self-care practice, here are some ideas to get you started. You can begin a self-pleasure ritual like I talk about in this video. You can increase the sensitivity and pleasure and strength in your pussy by doing a yoni egg practice like I talk about in this video. And there's a whole playlist on that with different exercises with your yoni egg. You can do guided meditations for pleasure and sexual energy like I share in these videos. And you can do sexually empowering affirmations like I share in these videos. And don't worry, I know that is a lot of videos I just mentioned, so all of this will be linked in the description below. Alright, wild ones, that is it for today. I would love to hear which of these you are excited to try next. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and feel free to share with any friends who you think would also enjoy this video. And wild queens and goddesses, while you're at it, go ahead and grab your free goddess pleasure guide at pussypowered.com, also linked in the description below. In the meantime, here's to your unleashing for a pussy-powered life.